Man, a couple of things came to my mind just while you were talking. First thing is, and I didn't get a chance to. A lot of stuff that I see online, I don't necessarily had the time or the chance to either see the video or read the whole post or whatever it might be. But somebody posted something on YouTube like last week, and it says, "Why is it that women are able to get over their relationships so quick?" Right.
Mm.
So it makes me think of what you're talking about with Scottie Pippen. It's like, look what everything I did for you, and it's just like his wife was all on Instagram, being an attention whore. It's like she moved on. It's like, okay, is Scottie Pippen on the ground? Did he get over it? Did he move on? Did he go on to bigger and better things? And I can't answer that question. The second thing that came to my mind, and I know I'm taking this off topic, but it was just so funny to me.
Keep
When
talking about bring
you
receipts
said
on his wife. Go ahead.
when you said brothers who act like G's with other men, and then you see them in a relationship, dog. I gotta find this, man, because this is so perfect how you laid that out. There was an episode of the Jetsons.
Not the Jetsons.
The Jetsons,
My
dog.
man going straight to
Everybody
the
know. Everybody knows Mr. Spacely as the loud, rambunctious. He gonna cuss you out at work, chop you up, fire you, all of that. But let his wife come into the game,
Ooh.
and Mr. Spacely's like, "Yes, dear, yes, dears," and she's blah 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 blah, just chopping him up. And she made him feel as small as he really was on that cartoon.
Yes. Yes. It's almost like he got the Mr.
I gotta
Roper
find that.
Company treatment. You remember how Mr. Roper
Wait, say that again.
Remember how Mr. Roper on Three's Company was always talking junk until his wife came around and he just get that silly grin on his face and just kind of, make a smart comment. But Stanley.
Man, this is why I'm looking forward to our series on sitcoms.
Y'all don't know.
That's gonna be the
Thank you for throwing that out there. Y'all just don't know what we got planned on sitcoms.
that's the joint right there, man. It was like you look at some of that stuff as a kid and it's just funny, but then you grow up and it's like, oh dang, that's why that went down like that.
Yes.
Even man, okay, we're gonna get back to the topic. I'm just throwing this in just for camera fodder. I'm just like, dog, some of the stuff they used to talk about in some of those cartoons and some of those sitcoms I couldn't relate to as a kid.
Right.
Here it is, you get older and it's like, dang, now I get it.
Right. Well, I'm kind of glad you went down that road because I think it's still relevant. And it is kind of a lead into something else we're going to be working on in the future. But it goes into me loving James Evans. It goes into me loving Furious Styles. These men had, I would say, to use the comparison what we're doing today, they had that Jordan mentality. James was going to run his household the way his household was supposed to run. If Florida's down with the program, it didn't matter. She was going to still run with him. Everybody who was involved with that Evans family was going to run it the way James Evans wanted that household to be run, which of course we know in reality, that's why Norman Lear booted him even because of the show was too much dominated by James Evans. And if we look at Furious and Boyz n the Hood, what did Furious Styles do? Furious, man, he didn't take any stuff from, Angela Bassett was the girl in that movie, but hey, Furious was like, this is what Trey gonna do. This is what I'm gonna have Trey do. And he argued with her and went and met her, for lunch or tea, whatever, but he was still in control. Furious was not going to not be furious for anyone. And that again goes into, I think when we look at our music and if we look at sitcoms, we look at our television, we are taught to be a Scottie Pippen. They don't want us to be a Michael Jordan. No one wants us to be, especially men today, no one wants a man to be a Michael Jordan in his relationship.
Damn. Now, see, if we go down the road with music, and we talked about this like a couple of months ago. It's like, okay, we were 17, 18, 19, I don't know, 20, however old we were when gangster rap started blowing up, right? And it's like, we're growing up on a menu of Babyface and Keith Sweat and all this other stuff. And it's like all of these brothers whining on record. So then when you hear somebody like Ice Cube come out talking about I ain't the one, or, a bitch is a bitch is a bitch is a bitch or whatever. And it's like, you hear that and it's like shocking. And it's like, how can he say that about women? How can you, I want to pay your rent. I want to take you out. I want to cook your dinner. That's after I work the 24-hour shift.
Right. And we used to sing it like it was nothing wrong with it either.
Man, I'm just, you said this I think it was 2 weeks ago, and you was talking to one of your boys, with the new person that you've become, say, over the last 5 years. Like, dude, I can't believe I'm talking to Iceberg Slim. And it's like, this is how they lay it out for how we're supposed to believe it is. And then the other guys on the other side are saying, no, that's what they're telling you, but this is how it really is. And you can't see that until you get into those relationships and you say, damn, if I was more Ice Cube now instead of Babyface, this wouldn't have happened to me.
Preach, man, preach. That was good. If we go by the usual tropes of, kind of the red pill, blue pill thing, that is definitely one that people would say that's that red pill anger phase. And I know I went through it, where you start analyzing and you start thinking, man, I was such a simp at that time. I can't believe I thought, I can't believe I said, and we ain't even gonna get into brothers crying. Can't believe I shed tears in front of that babe. You start thinking of everything that you did. And this is why, I know folks have their issues on red pill or blah, 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 especially because a lot of single guys try to talk about it. The married red pill dudes are the ones that I think always have probably the best game, that really are able to bring things home, because you go through the whole complete cycle, because you do reflect of where you have come from. You look at where you're at, and you really have to determine on where you're going to go. And are you going to stay in this marriage, or are you not going to stay in this marriage? If you're a single dude, it gets a lot easier, because, you can change, and you can almost have a gradual change with each woman you date, or as you learn game, as you learn how to go out and talk to women. When you're married, that's not the case. You have to kind of grow while you under observation. We'll put it that way. And you're right. A lot of people can't handle that. And so you get mad. I think Pippen, again, to bring it back, I think Pippen is kind of that kind of dude. Like you said, he might have been in his anger phase. I'm supposed to be in charge of the team. Y'all not letting me take the shot. And I'm going, but he didn't know the whole proxology. He didn't really know how he was supposed to respond in that situation. Because you don't have to say, I'm the man. You just go out there and be the man.
Well, that's where I wanted to go with this. It shows that he hasn't accepted that he's the man. If he can't fill those shoes and he's not willing to dish it off, he has it in his mind that he's not quite the man yet. That's why he needs to have that to be solidified as the leader. Whereas Jordan has already proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that he's going to get the job done. Scottie still hasn't had that test yet. He's still basically the side man. You did a good job in the first season that Jordan was gone, but you still haven't proven that you can take this team all the way. You still haven't proved that you're 100% leader, because you can't involve all the rest of the guys around you. And when you got the chance to do that, you blew it. So again, if we look at it in a comparison, if we're going to make Jordan and Pippen in relationships in that point, we already saw Jordan do that. I don't know what Pippen has done, what went down exactly everything with his wife, but Jordan said, you can take the money. I'll get another one, and I'm going to make more money after you gone. Yes. Shut the door.
Don't touch that coat.
What I'm talking about. So
that's handling it like a G.
I can't wait to, and as much as I know about what happened in that scenario, I'm actually looking forward to episode 6 tonight, episode 6 that I'm going to see, because I might learn some other things in that scenario that I didn't know at the time. But just based on what I know, like, dude, that was a bitch move. That was a straight bitch move. I couldn't believe he did. I was like, you supposed to be the leader, and you off on the end of the bench sulking like a little. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, but I gotta say, man, I think a lot of us guys, that's how we end up acting. When let's say if you get to that point in your marriage or in your relationship where things don't go the way that you think they should necessarily go, that's usually how we end up responding. It really shows who we are. Let me make up a scenario. Let's say a guy has, he's with his wife, and all of a sudden he can tell when she comes home, she's talking about this guy at work just a little too much. And then let's say, what's the first thing he starts to do? Let me go ahead and check her cell phone when she ain't looking. And then, he's respond. Oh, I didn't know they talking about what? And then now, how is he going to respond to that challenge that's now been presented before him? Is he going to fly off the handle and talk about the man that he is and all I've done for you and blah, 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 blah. And Lisa, I can't believe you did this to me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or is he going to handle it the Jordan route, which is going to be with him? Or even, to be honest, I don't even think many dudes can handle the confrontation. And let me flip that around. I want you to jump in. I even think if it's the other way around, let's say the guy just has something, because this is definitely true. Let's just say he has an outside interest, and I'm not talking about a woman. I'm just talking about the course of a marriage where oftentimes a woman's authority just keeps extending it more and more. So I'll take something like, I don't like the fact that you hang out with your boys and you're going to play golf on Saturdays, or you're going to play basketball on Friday nights. I want you to be home with me. And then the first test, he has that test. What does he do? The question, and what most men aren't going to think, is simply, one, okay, is she really being legitimate in what she's asking? Maybe, am I spending too much time away from her? That may be a legitimate, we should have that self-reflection, fine. But then two, most men would be a long time down when they simply ask, do I want to play basketball? Do I want to play golf? At the end of the day, that's really what it boils down to. I want to play basketball. I want to play golf. And as you and I as married men know, what often happens, the dude be like, okay, I'm gonna give the things up. And it goes back to no more Mr. Nice Guy again. Dudes give the things up that they normally would do. And they lay it up under her armpit 24/7. And now she's sick and tired of you, which takes me back to my first scenario. So she starts kicking it on her phone with the other dude at work because she didn't got tired of you, but you gave up everything. You gave up hanging with him, which is why no one nice guy, when the first thing he says to do is go make some friends and get out from under your wife.
Man, it's like every time you bring up a new point, it puts another scenario in my mind. And listening to what you were just asking in that question, who did that just remind me of? I can't remember the name of the character, but you remember The Best Man, right?
Vaguely. It's been
the brother with the dread. Okay, so there was four, the four brothers in the movie. You had Morris Chestnut, you had Taye Diggs, Terrence Howard, and what was it, Harold Perrineau, whatever his name, dude with the dreads, right?
Okay.
He was the one with the light-skinned chick who was he was like kissing her shoes through the whole movie, and his boys was clowning him over it. He wanted to go have a boys' night out, and his girl started, bitching him, and he was like, oh. You know what? And I haven't watched that movie in a long time either, but I just remember him like, oh, I can't go.
Yep. Yes.
So how is you going to react? This is what they were not even married in that scenario, but already his girl is saying dictating what he can and he cannot do. And his own boys was looking at him like, dog, how long are you going to keep letting that go on?
Yes. And nobody didn't trust you, which goes on to Pippen. Nobody trusts you to take the shot now. She don't trust you to take the shot because you can't stand up to her. Your boys don't trust you because you'll bail on them in a minute for her.
Now, what's funny about that is you may or may not remember that movie, but not only did his boys not like seeing the way his girl was ordering him around and he was just taking it, whatever, but there was also this banter going on where something had happened in the past and they didn't want to share something that went down with him because it was like, we can't tell you. You can run back and tell everybody. So it was like, damn, he was getting it from both sides. It was like the relationship he was in with his girl also reflected in his relationship with his boys because they couldn't trust him in that way.
Yes. And that's what I mean. Are you like Pippen? Or you like Jordan? Way to bring it home, man. That's it right there. Nobody really trusts you. And so when we watch his behavior on the court, it should always, we may have an idea how he is in his relationship. And I hope it makes us look inwardly at our own relationships, because I wonder if a lot of us dudes have acted that way.
Man, you know what? After we get done with this video, I'm gonna have to do some digging on that because I'm kind of curious now. Not to make another side to the story, but at the same time, it kind of applies. Look at the person that before Dennis Rodman left the Pistons. He went off to San Antonio, then he became a Chicago Bull. But there was a scenario where something went down between him and another Piston player and Dennis Rodman's wife. This is what the rumor says. We don't know how much of that is true. But look at the difference between who Dennis Rodman was when he was with the Pistons in terms of his relationship versus the person that he became. Now, a lot of people are pointing the finger and saying, well, that was because Madonna came into his life or whatever. But the point is, I don't know Dennis Rodman either, but I'm just saying I see a distinct difference between the person that he was with the Pistons versus the person he became when he left the Pistons. Now, whether that was because of Madonna or whatever, but we see two different Dennis Rodmans. You know, Isaiah made the point, like, this guy didn't smoke, he didn't drink, he didn't party, he didn't do any of that. But then he got a taste of that lifestyle and he became a completely different person.
So, yeah, man, I'm glad you actually brought that up because I think that is a good person to throw in here. We both know how Dennis Rodman was in Detroit. And I remember watching an interview, if I remember correctly, I think he was on like Roy Firestone's show crying, talking about really how girls didn't want to date him. I think white girls started paying attention to him because sisters didn't want to holler at him when he was in college or whatever. And, you know, the dude shedding tears the whole nine. And then he goes through what, like you said, the rumor is somebody might have been smashing his wife. And now that dude, man, he does a complete 180. He had that moment where he went from being Mr. Nice Guy, where he probably figured, well, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to smoke, I'm always going to do. And that dude was like, you know what? What did that get me? Now I'm going to mess with Madonna. I'm going to mess with Carmen Electra. And whether we like his lifestyle, agree, whatever he's doing or not, John Sally said something in The Last Dance that I thought that really jumped out at me. Dennis Rodman, I think he said something, I'm paraphrasing, Dennis Rodman was now the freest man in the world. It was almost like he adopted that Jordan mentality. I'm going to do what I want to do. I want to go on vacation for 2 weeks. During the season? Yeah, during the season. You know, because he got to that. Now, Dennis Rodman had the audacity to ask for that, but Pippen didn't have the audacity to ask for more money.
Now, see, this is where I'm going. It's like, I wasn't even meaning to bring Dennis Rodman into this discussion, but at the same time, it's a good comparison. It's a good analysis saying, okay, damn, is Rodman close? It's okay. Look at it this way. It's almost like Rodman before he got traded. It's almost like he was Pippen, and then when he got with the Bulls, he became Jordan.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm just I'm talking about how he handled his business on and off the court. Right. If we're making the analysis between Jordan and Pippen, which side would Rodman be on? He represented maybe Scottie Pippen when he was with the Pistons, but then when he moved over to the Bulls, he became a completely different person. It's like, I'm running this. This is my life.
Yes.